Hey, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Mike. If you've dug around in the my about section of my podcast, if you followed any of the links that I've posted, you've probably discovered that one of the things that I do is what is called spiritual direction. Consider myself a non-religious spiritual companion director. And if you want to know more about that, you can visit my website, thewanderingnautiluscom. But I want to talk a little bit today about why I chose the word Nautilus, why I chose the Nautilus, and what it means to me, and some of the life lessons that I've drawn from that little guy, the Nautilus. So as I was thinking about what to call my non-religious spiritual practice, which is what I named my podcast after. So I was doing some research. I came across an article about the Nautilus and how the Nautilus, of course, as you know, lives inside a shell, and it's part of who it is, and it carries that shell with it everywhere it goes. It's part of who it is, who he is. We'll call the Nautilus a he because I'm a he. Part of who he is. And when he's born, when the Nautilus comes into this world, I believe it has 6 or 7 chambers. You know, the shell has a variety of chambers in it, variety number of chambers in it, various chambers in it. And there's, I think it's born with like 5, 6, or 7 chambers. And the closer you get to the center of the shell, the chambers are smaller. And it starts off in that first chamber, and then as it grows, it will outgrow that chamber and move on to the next chamber. It will seal the old chamber behind it. And as it continues to grow, it will continue to move into the next chamber, continue to sealing that chamber behind it. And I believe when it gets to its last chamber and is ready to grow again, it will actually build on, it will add on to its house. And I know that they're, depending on how long Nautilus live, some of them get 35, 40, 45 chambers big. And when it grows, like I said, when it outgrows its chamber, it will seal the chamber behind it and live in its new chamber until it grows and is ready to move on. And those old chambers don't weigh it down. It will actually utilize the old chambers by filling them with some sort of fluid and emptying them, and use that to propel itself forward. I believe it can actually, like if it wants to shoot to the surface, if something is, endangering it, it will empty the chambers and fill it with air, empty the chambers of liquid, which will, allow it to shoot to the surface. So it will use its chambers to propel itself wherever it needs to go. And the other cool thing about the Nautilus is that, and one thing I was reading, it really stuck out to me, which became the name of my practice and my podcast, was that the Nautilus wanders the ocean floor. And the idea that the Nautilus wanders but is really never lost because it's always home. It carries with it its home on its back. So it really resonated with me in my own personal journey, and it was actually comforting to me, was this idea that, the Nautilus carries with it its past. Its past is on its back, but its past doesn't weigh it down. It uses its past to propel itself forward. And so understanding that as I continue to grow, there are parts of me that I outgrow. There are parts of my past that I outgrow, including my toxic, high controlled, religious, painful religious past. That's a part of me. And I don't have to let the trauma and the pain and everything that I've experienced in the past, I don't have to let it weigh me down. I can actually, because it's always a part of me, and I can let it propel me forward. I can allow my life lessons and the things that I've faced and enjoyed and suffered in life to just propel me forward, because it's a part of me and it doesn't have to weigh me down. And what that looks like for you might be different than the way it looks for me. Some of the things that I did in my religious environment, I feel bad about. I've had to learn to forgive myself for those things. Feeling stupid, maybe for being deceived into believing a certain way, acting a certain way. Understanding that when I was in the middle of it, I didn't know any better and I was simply doing the best I could with the tools that I was given. So learning to forgive myself, learning to, in some way, shape, or form, forgive others that hurt me, at least for the most part, not letting them live rent-free in my head. Again, it might look different for you, but finding a way to use what meant to hurt me and destroy me to empower me and to move forward. Yes, seal off that chamber. I'm not going back. I'm not going back into that chamber. I'm sealing it off because I'm living in a new chamber, which is now. All those chambers are in the past. They're behind me. I'm not going to live there anymore. I'm going to live in my new chamber. I'm going to live in here now and figure out, what it means to live in this chamber now. And I'm not going to stay here because I'm going to continue to grow and expand beyond this chamber. And I'm going to build me another one and I'm going to continue to move forward, allowing everything that I'm carrying on my back to propel me to move me forward. The other piece of it too is that wandering Nautilus is never lost. It's always home. Back in religion, we were taught that this world is not my home. I'm just a passing through. And so there were times that maybe we felt lost. And so we were given an instruction map, a road map. We're given the Bible. That's our road map. That's our basic instruction before leaving Earth. Or the pastor gets up, each week and tells us what we're supposed to do, where we're supposed to go, whatever it might be. We're given this roadmap, we're given this plan that we're supposed to follow, kind of helping tether us to some sense of security, kind of help us to not feel lost. But then when we venture outside of the gates of religion and we no longer have that, we might feel lost, especially when we're not being told what to do, where to go. We're not given any roadmap or instructions. We're just kind of out here on our own, and we might feel lost, especially as we're standing here looking out across this vast pathless landscape in front of us, a landscape of development and growth and spirituality, however we're going to define it. We don't know where to go next. We don't know what to do next, and we feel lost. What has brought me comfort, though, is grasping this idea that I'm home, and that home is where I am. And no matter where I go and no matter where I wander, I'm never lost because I'm always home. Learning to feel at home in my own mind, learning to feel at home in my own skin, learning to feel at home in my own body, learning to feel at home with me has been a part of my journey and a part of my healing. And so when you learn to feel at home, you get to explore your identity. I've talked with people before, I feel so lost with my identity. You don't have to, because you're already home. And you get to recreate your identity every single day. You get to recreate yourself. If you don't like the person you were yesterday, guess what? Brand new day, brand new person. You get to reinvent yourself today. You don't like the decision that you made yesterday, don't like the thing that you did yesterday, guess what? Brand new day. Brand new day, brand new decision, brand new path I could take today. And it's like that every moment. Every moment it's like that. And so you're never lost. And if you wander this way and you don't like where that led you, then you can wander over this way and wander over that way. I mean, this landscape that you are navigating right now, it is pathless. If you've been given some instructions, 12 steps to do this, 3 steps to do that, 5 ways you can do this, or whatever it might be. I would encourage you to maybe consider setting some of that aside and saying, okay, what am I going to do next? Where am I feeling drawn to? What kind of passions do I want to pursue? What things do I want to try? I was always told what to like and what to dislike, and where I ought to go, where I ought not to go. And now I don't have that anymore. I feel so lost. Well, look, you embrace that as not a feeling of lost, but it is a new frontier that you get to explore. This is a new adventure that you get to take. Because no matter where you go from here on, you are not lost because you're already home. Back when you were within the walls of religion, within the confines of your denomination, of your ministry, of your church, of the thou shalts and the thou shalt nots, if nothing, you were lost. Because the real you and your true identity was being shoved into the corner, not allowed to explore, not allowed to go on adventures. You were handed a script, of where you needed to go and what you needed to do, and you were following that script. Because you were lost. When you get in the car, I remember not too long ago, my wife and I, we had an appointment that we arrived to, about an hour and a half early, because the day just allowed us to get to where we needed to go a little early, and we got done with everything else. And so we got there about an hour and a half early, and we decided, we used GPS to get us to that location, but we decided that we were going to spend the next hour wandering. So we shut the GPS off and we just began to wander. We took the car up down this street, down this road, down that road, and we were really never lost because we were out there exploring. And when you're allowing yourself to just freely explore and embracing the exploration and embracing the mystery of what's down this road and what's down that road, and let's go here and let's go check this out and let's just see what kind of adventure, what kind of thing we can find, you're really not lost. Now, it wasn't until we got to the point of needing to be at our appointment, we needed to look at the GPS to get to where we were going, else we'd get lost. But when there is no destination and it's simply a journey, you're never going to get lost. You're never lost. Even understanding that healing is not a destination, it's a journey. Processing what happened to you in religion is not a destination, it's a journey. It's all just a journey. Embracing the mystery, embracing the magic, whatever it might be, it's all a journey. And when you understand that you're always home, it's like maybe you're wandering the country in a motorhome. So you're always home. You're always in that home. And no matter where you decide to go, you're never lost because you're already home. You're living in that motorhome. It's kind of like the Nautilus, his own little personal motorhome. Everywhere he goes, he's never lost. And so I want to encourage you, wherever you are on your journey, maybe you are still in religion, still stuck in a church or stuck in a ministry, and maybe you're kind of standing at the gate and in the process of navigating through that gate. I want you to know that what lies beyond that gate is beautiful wonder and mystery, and come into this space knowing that you are home and you've always been home. You're already home, and the landscape that you are about to take a journey in is pathless. The path is only created as you walk it, as you move forward. You're creating your own paths. You're creating your own journey, your own map, your own road. And you're never lost. You're already home. So these are some things that I've just been navigating through that have kind of helped bring me into a better headspace in knowing and understanding that anything that was behind me, I can't go back because I'm much bigger now. And I've sealed off those smaller rooms. who I was as a pastor, who I was as a Christian, who I was as a person. I've moved beyond that. I've outgrown that. I've expanded beyond the borders of anything that I ever was back there. And those rooms are sealed. And I'm going to continue to grow. And eventually I'll probably outgrow this space and move into the next and move into the next and continue to grow and continue to expand, not allowing my past to be burdensome, but using everything that I learned about life and about myself, about religion, spirituality, etc., using everything behind me to propel me forward. Propel me forward. And everywhere that I go from here on, I am never, ever, ever lost because I'm already home. I am home. I hope this, in some way, shape, or form, will maybe help you on your journey, maybe give you a little bit of peace, a little bit of comfort, a little bit of strength, a little bit of power, empowerment as you learn to live with your past and move forward. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.